All right, we should be rocking and rolling. Sound check 1, 2, and 3. Hopefully someone can let me know in the chat if the sound is working fine, which I believe it should be. Fantastic. So we've got Vogboids, Scenics as well. Shout out to Marco out there. Let's do one more little thing here. Make sure everything is up and running. It's been a while since I've done one of these. Last time I did one was in 2021 during lockdown. And that was a long time ago when you think about it. All right, fantastic. Sound on point. Very good. Okay. Well then. Welcome to the stream. This is Nick Nova here. I had a DM from a young fella, 19 years old, who wanted to get into making energy, bounce, donk, whatever word you want to call it. And he said, I enjoy your breakdowns. I enjoy your... How you say it? That's what I'm looking for. Gotta love being live on air. What's called the breakdowns of tracks, how you make them, what elements in what, and things like that. And he said, I can't find one where someone makes energy. And I thought, well, that's a bit odd because I found a few back in 2017, 2018, maybe whenever it was, unless they're no longer available or it's just maybe something that you can't find. So I thought, you know what, I might do one anyways. And this is not this is how you should do it, because if you're into music, just anything in general, the creative process is not cookie cutter, copy paste. It can be once you've developed a structure, once you know how to start a track, what elements you want to start with. You want to build with your drum track first, you want to build some chords and then work around it. Do you have a melody, do you have a vocal, etc., etc. It all depends. It is very subjective. So this is not this is how you should do it, this is how I do it, but maybe it might give you an idea as to how to do it in the future if you do so try. And before we get into building something from scratch, and I'm going to preface this, it may get annoying, it may get very annoying, the start stop, writing melodies and chords and bits and pieces, but this is the production process, for lack of a better term. This is what it is, unfortunately, which is why sometimes we're sick of hearing our tracks once we have them finished, because we've listened to them over 1,000 times in however many hours, days, or weeks we've spent putting them together, making and creating them for you, the fans, the dance floor, whatever. So just letting you know now, it could get annoying with a lot of start-stop, okay? But by all means, leave your comments in the chat onto the side down below, wherever you're watching this. Like the stream, support, all that good stuff. I don't do these often, but when I do, I try and make them as good as possible. So shout out to all yous watching live and in the future. Now, yeah, writer's block 100% happens. So this is just an example, my remix of Bell Mercy by Jengy. And I did this some months ago now, and I thought I'll just put this through as an example so you guys have an understanding as to what it involves. So before we go to the track we're building from scratch, just so you guys know, every energy bounce, even just any dance track in general, has a kick, a clap, or a snare, or a combination of both. An open hi-hat, could have a closed hi-hat or a ride, could also have a loop as well, some percussion, drum fills, risers, down filters, some reverse crashes, you've got sub drops, drones, etc., etc., and of course bass lines, chords, melodies. Now, in a simple sense, this is what your bread and butter sounds like. Those are those elements working together. And once you build up from that and you have your drum roll kicking in with some effects. So then you have your vocal elements. You got your bass line with a bit of filtering, a bit of automation, which I may get into when we build. So it's added for effect to make things a little bit different, a little bit exciting, keep everyone up and bouncy. And you've got a little bit of a melody, something simple. Then you've got a secondary melody or a main melody or a riff or whatever you want to call it. And if you just play those with, oh, I got another one here as well. I know a lot of Alex K fans and old school from Wild FM, they'll recognize that sound. A lot of people call it the dinky pluck. It's actually part of the lethal synthesizer, the VST range, I should say. But when you add that and you throw the club head on top and you put the kick behind it and you just play these on their own. So you get a bit of an idea, right? So that's that. Now, if we stop that and we go to our little thing that I've started up here, put it together from the get-go, just put a drum track down so I didn't have to sit there and pick and choose what the hell am I going to use for it. And I'm just going to build... oh, thanks AUB, appreciate it, man. Yeah, so this was his request, so I thought, you know what, let's do this. I haven't done this actually ever, so I thought, you know what, let's give it a go. Building something from scratch for the sake of instruction rather than doing it for fun and just watching me work. This is new to me, okay? So if I'm not great at this, I'm just doing this first go around. So again, simple drum track, kick, clap, open hat, ride, and a loop. Very simple. Kick, clap, open hat, closed. It's more of a ride. And a bit of a percussive loop. Or a hi-hat loop, if you will. And then, of course, we've got the donk, got the bass line. So they're your main elements. You start with your drums, you lead onto your bass, and then you can work from there. So what I developed was, I think, a little bit of a melody here. But I want to scrap that, and we'll start with something very, very simple. Now, for this here, when it comes to theory on how to write melodies and stuff like that, normally you start from the basics, being the bass line. And if you're making chords, obviously your triad, your three-note chord, you start with the bottom one being the bass note, but you can vary it in some instances. But use your ears for your best way. So we're going to use the A note here for the bass line. In which case then, where is it here? 5. My little melody needs to start on, has to start on A. I prefer it to start on A. That's my bass line. I don't want that. Where is my melodies? Where did it go? This one here. There we go. And as simple as it goes, you see like a or something to that effect. So you have to use your ears. Sometimes this stuff isn't as exactly, as long as it's in the scale 100%. And sometimes these things don't sound right either. So I've got my little MIDI controller here, which I'll probably go to just for reference. So I was close, need to get down one. And we can also add this, put like a fifth behind it or something maybe. One, two, three, 4. Sometimes they don't always work, but it's trial and error, I suppose, with music. Double that up, I like the sound of that. And we'll change this. It's the same thing being played. I just moved it up an octave, so it makes it sound like it's shifted. As long as it looks like it's a little bit different, right? So you get that that flow there. And if we wanted to change the sounds, this is what I use. This is lethal. This is what I use when I make my NRG dong bounds, whatever you want to call it. We can do the pluck if we want as well. But let's say I wanted to change this and not have it up an octave. I wanted to make it a little bit different. And we can move this up as well. I like to do this thing called randomize. You can do it in FL Studio. This is what I'm using right now. So FL Studio is what's being used. And so what you want to do is you Control A, select the whole thing, click this little gear up here, this little spanner, hit randomize, and you can see the bottom here, they just shifted, they just changed. So you can see them a little bit. It gives it a bit of variety, if you will, so it's not exactly played at the same sort of like velocity. It changes it so it's a little bit, feels a little bit more natural. And then you can also shift them across a little bit to give them a little bit of swing and things like that, but we'll just leave them pretty standard for now. So let's see if this works with our bass line that I've created, which doesn't really move anywhere, but we'll make it move. So let's just do this real quick. Copy this over. That seems to be okay. So what we can do is then something like that. Nothing too fancy. Keep it basic. We'll do a CG. As long as you hit one of those notes, yeah, it should be fine. So we got C, A. Yeah, it's fine. She's good. No, you got to pay for it, man. Shout out to Mella, hello. Steve D as well, hello. No, you got to pay for it. It's not free. It does have some cracking sounds in there, though. So if you want to make like Melbourne Bounce, they have packs as well. So once you pay for the lethal license, then you can download all the multiple packs if you want. I think, what did it cost me? A few $100. I've had this since about 2017, though. Keep in mind, 2017, 2018. Paid for it once, and then you can just download whatever you want. They've got commercial sounds for like poppy house. They've got dance pop. They've got psytrance. They've got tech. They've got what's the other one? R&B and all sorts of stuff like that, right? So if you want to go drop it an octave as well, make it sound a little bit more serious. And I'm not particularly fond of the sound, but I'm just going to leave it there for brevity's sake, because I don't want to be sitting here spending forever on this thing, because it's not not that type of stream to be just saying I'm going to spend however long it takes to make a track. We are on a schedule here, so we'll just leave it at that. We'll add bits and pieces in here and there as well, but once we get to this point here, then it's almost like you do your drop. So that's normally I like to work with like 27 seconds in, so it's like you got your 16 bars up here, so 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, and then bang, after that from the 17th, so bass line kicks in. And then you work that again, another 16 bars, you get to about a minute, and then you can enter your little riff or melody. and then you build up again to break. And then what I like to do at the end is cut off the last sort of like the last kick off a bar or something, just to give it a little bit, like, you'll see what I mean. Just it breaks it up a little bit and lets you transition into a break. So now that we've done that, let's make some chords. Now this can be the most fun or the most frustrating part of a track. Again, we'll use lethal for this, keep everything all the same. Mind you, every sound I'm using right now for the kicks, the claps, and everything else in between is out of lethal, apart from the loop. That's from a different sort of pack. But you can just use a loop from anything, really. It doesn't have to be specific to whatever it is synth-wise you're using. Any pack, you can find so many free ones out there. There's heaps of things. Okay, quick refreshment. So I have preset set stuff that I use. You may hear some sounds that you've heard in some of my tracks or remixes already. So we're going to go to the pads and move my headphone cable over. So what have we got here? And let's make some chords. Like I said, this can be the most fun part or the most frustrating part. So another thing you can do in FL Studio, if you don't know how to write chords, very easy to do. Click this little purple icon up here, and bang, you've got a whole list of bits and pieces. So if you want charts, if you want chords, you want to write chords, you want to do bits and pieces. Let's say I want to start with a major. I just have to find the A. There you go. There's a triad. There's a chord for you. So bit short because we only have a short note on there, but we're going to make ours from scratch. So how it works is you've got like 0, 3, and I think it's 4. So you start from 0, you go up 3, then you go up 4, or you go up 4, then 3 for a minor. So major is 0, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, so 4 and 3. One or the other, I forget. When we hear it, we'll know exactly what it's meant to sound like. And I should turn this down because that is damn loud. Okay. That sounds majorish to me. Or minorish, which one is it? I don't know. I'm the worst person when it comes to music theory. I can't tell you how to write music or read music, but I just know if something sounds right or wrong. So we'll leave it there. We do this, bring it over, and then sounds good if you're writing a movie, but we're not, so I don't know what I'm doing here. I'm just putting some chords together. So we started with A. I don't like that synth though, so let's change it up. What's the Bianco? Okay, I can live with that. Let's give this a crack. So let me just octave up on my MIDI. Too high. That'll do. So we go A, F, G, E. Oh, that's ugly. Ugly. No good. So it was the E note. Or maybe we should go down and do this instead. Sounds like something out of Dracula. Maybe we can swap these around. There we go. And now we are in the C major scale. It's a bit odd. Why are we in C? We want to go working in A. Is that what I've done for this? What are we working in A? Well, this is A minor, for some bizarre reason. This is why I'm not good at these things, because I come across sounding like I have no idea what I'm talking about, which in actual fact, I sort of really don't, if you think about it, but... So even if you leave it up a few notes higher, anyways, we'll see how it sounds. If it doesn't work out, we'll change it, but whatever, we'll just leave it at that for now. Again, doing this as a how-to, not so much a let's make something. Yeah, light refresh, 100%. And it doesn't always work with, but what we can do actually is change it up. So we had A, then we went down to F. See, it just doesn't sound right. It doesn't sound right. These fifths don't work. But if we change these up, maybe. Maybe. And we went down to E after that, didn't we? And went back up to G. See, it's that sharp, no good. It's all about mucking around and just playing around and seeing what works with what. And that, well, I want to go that high and then it drops down. Hopefully it works. Okay. Almost. Now let's see if this works. If it doesn't, I apologize for the noise you're about to hear. Yuck. Yuck, yuck, yuck. Absolutely disgusting. Yuck, yuck once again. No good. Yucky, yucky. Why is this not working for me today? That's why I'm in C. I need to go to A. C, G, E. So I even got this wrong. It needs to be G, then E. Where am I going? All over the place. I should have prepped with a little bit more due diligence for this. And I want to change this bit here. Yeah, I think that sounds about right. And that'll do. Anyways, okay, finally. So, too much time spent on that. But we've got a bit of a chord structure. Easy, simple, nothing to it. Very basic. This sort of, there are much better tutorials out there for you to learn this sort of stuff. Don't look at me as a go-to, please. By all means, you probably will take a long while. And then, of course, you can write your melody how you like. You can change it up if you want a little bit. So in this instance here, we'll just leave it as is. Don't want to change too much about it. And then you can bring it in later on. And of course, the bass line then has to change. So we went from our simple one note, and then we've got to change it up now, where we're going to go down to the F. There we go. Actually, we might go higher. Well, it might be too low of an octave. Oh, no, maybe not. Actually, it should be okay. But that will need to move over. This will be the G, and then this will be the E. Let's see if this works. Again, if you don't actually have like an idea in your head of what you want the bass line to sound like or whatever, just trial and error. Just give things a crack, man. Like no one knows the process. You're doing it in real time, so. I think that sounds okay. Maybe my ears aren't probably the best through earphones, but that sounds okay. Now to fatten up the chord, many people will know you just add the bass notes as an extra layer, and you just drop the tone down a little bit, the velocity, so they're not overpowering, but you're just adding a little bit of body to the track. And just drop the velocity down a little bit. So that's with the extra notes. So you can tell it just adds a bit of body. Now you can make another chord pattern. You can put more pads. You can put like a bass pad if you want as well for a little bit. This just seems to fatten it up a little bit. And then you can also change your chords as well. Just invert the chords. So instead of the F being down here, just bring it up there. And instead of the E being here, just bring it up there. So it'll sound like this. Still the same notes being played, but when they're played at a higher octave or an octave above or below, they give you a whole different feel. It's exactly the same thing, but it sounds different. It sounds like they've shifted, sounds like they've changed, but they haven't. They are still the same. So now that we have our nice little chord structure there, which I'm actually quite proud of, Yeah, see, Scenic should be doing this stuff over me, man. I'm here to just put something together. If I did ever have the need to actually make a why we do these sorts of things, Scenics would be your man. He would be your go-to person. Okay, what are we, half hour in? Perfect. So we've got that there. All right, now let's put together melody, a riff, whatever you want. Now, because you've got because we've got a nice chord structure here, we can work with the chord structure specifically, or you can have the chord structure as a break, and then you can build something else on top of that that works in a similar way. So it doesn't have to be specific to it, but it can work. He's retired. I call bull on that. So it can work in that sense. So one more time, let's just, without the anything else. I actually like that. I don't mind. That's quite nice. So you can work with that. So I get dun 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 dun. Or you can do something completely different. Dun 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 dun. Whatever, like Scenic said in the start. As long as it's in that what do you call it? As long as it's in that scale, it should be okay. And you can determine if it's in that scale by these highlighted notes. So these highlighted notes means it's in scale. So if I put this note here, it will still sound okay, or should. If I move things here and there, they should still sound okay. Obviously, always use your ears. Never just go with, excuse me, the computer or the algorithm just because the algorithm says so. AI is the work of the devil. So now that we've got that, let's make a melody. And again, I'm just going to go to lethal for this just because it's easy and simple. And what have I got preset in here? Anything I can use? What have we got? Let's have a look. Nope. Maybe. Too low. Let's just work with this. And because you've made your chord structure, you can literally just use your chord structure as the basis for your melody, for your riff, because it's literally already there for you. That's right, yes, you can do the ghost keys. I saw someone do that once, and I can't bloody remember how they did it. But in any case, because you've already got the notes here, there are your notes in that scale. So then what you can do is you listen to it like this. That's not what I want. I want number 9. Let's go on. No, wrong. I really am the worst sometimes. Okay, this should be working now. Let's go. There we go. And I gotta turn the volume down because it's a new channel. And trick with FL is if you hold down the shift key on a PC, and I think it's what it is on a Mac, but you shift it and drag it across, it'll make it the duplication for you. So that's pretty much it. I can do it one more time again. And that is your melody, your riff following your chord progression. And you can change the notes here and there to give it a bit of a different feel. So for example, let's just bring it down an octave. See just that up here, and we can bring something down here as well. Simple things like that make it sound completely different, gives it a whole different outcome as opposed to just hearing dun 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 dun. It's got a difference about it. So for the second half now, let's round it off. All right, now that we've got that, let's do the little randomize thingy that I like to do. And let's see if it works. Because if it doesn't work, we have to change it up. All right, let's have a look. Let's go mixer. Very good. That works. What about the bass line? Does the bass line work? Maybe we go an octave up. Ah, it's gonna sound like shit. Sounds too UK-ish. Let's drop it down. But maybe we change the sound of the bass line. Maybe we do that. Where is it in my back here? Where are we here? Here we go. And let's see if it just works with this little other melody we did before. Yeah, that works. I don't have an issue with that. That works. All right, cool. So we've got a little melody. Let's do the breakdowns. What do we get up to here? 56. Screw it. Let's do this. Bang, bang, biggity bang. Bang, 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 boom. Not too much. Doing too much. Let's do that. Yes, duplicate this. Fill in the gaps. Actually, what we'll do is we'll start it earlier. So we bring it in as soon as the bass drops. And then bring it in again. Cut it so we hear the fill do its thing. And then we bring it in as a whole phrase. So the whole thing kicking in after. So it plays through all the way. Here we go. So something like that, bring it in, and then we can... Aha, I know what we can do. We'll leave that there, leave that, leave that. So I'm just riffing on my head. Alright, so now that we've got that little break there, and we're already what? 2 minutes in, and that can pretty much be your track. Once you've got your breakdown, once you've got your build, once you've got your drop, by the time the outro comes out. Look, in this day and age, 3.5, 4 minutes max for a track is all the youngsters can handle, which annoys me because we spend so much time and effort in these tracks most of the time that you're spending multiple hours, 5+ hours for a 3.5 minute track, right? So it's like, well, what's the point of me spending that much time and effort into something if it's not going to amount to anything really? So, but it is what it is. I like the sound of those chords, just goosebumps. Makes me all warm and fuzzy inside. Okay. Sounds like very 2006-ish, 7-ish Alex K, like Forever. You know, speaking of Alex K, that was great over the weekend. Shout out to Alex K, 25-year anniversary. Holy crap. That was a good way to spend my 35th birthday with people I enjoy spending my time with. Wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Shout out to the miso. And what we're going to do here is filter this in. So I'm getting a little bit too ahead of myself, but I'm on something here. I have done no EQ, no extra bits and pieces, none of that sort of stuff. So what I'm going to do is put a love filter on there, which is a low pass, and we're going to filter this bad boy in. Yeah, Scenics knows exactly what I'm talking about. He knows what I'm talking about. I trust he knows what I'm talking about. Anyways, so let's filter the bad boy in here. So we do these ones. Click. So it sounds like this. Same thing with the riff. We're going to do the exact same thing. Filter in the bad boy. That's what I love about FL and modern day DAWs. You can just do all these fancy little filters and cutoffs and everything else. It's awesome. Love it. So bloody good. Anyways, let's just do a quick little drop here. Nothing too over the toppies, because we're gonna wrap things up quite quickly. But it's a basic structure. Like I said, there's no right or wrong way to do this. It's pretty much how you determine it to be. If it works for you to make chords first, by all means do the chords first. I've made tracks where the chords have come first and everything has followed. There have been times where I've had a rhythm in my head. I make a rhythm, then I build it around that. Or I've got a bass line idea or a melody or something. It just depends. Like, there is no right or wrong way to do these things, okay? Work at your own pace. Don't worry about what everyone else is doing. Take inspiration from other people. Try and emulate your idols. Don't try and replicate them. I made the mistake of trying to replicate them in my younger days, but you want to sort of like emulate them. Use similar or same sounds, but don't make it sound like it's theirs. Make it sound like your own whilst using their sort of sound, if you will. And then we just go bang right into it. No mucking, just Bing bong bangity boo. Bang bang bang. There's my loop. Fruity Lupe. There's my kick. And of course I missed the drop. It sounds flat, doesn't sound the best. It sounds very like because I haven't really put anything else behind it really, but essentially you get the idea sort of a thing. That's pretty much what you get really. So it's sort of like a track in and of itself. Not fond of that bass line. I will say, let's try this one. Let's crank that up a little bit more drive. And let's try this. You can put a different bass line, whatever bass line you want to put behind it, really nothing really to it. But that's pretty much it, man. Like, that's pretty much a track. And then once you've done that, yeah, again, you build up, you do your thing, and then comes in again, one more time. You can change up your melody if you want, your riff. You can make it do different things. You can change the pattern. You can, you know, what I would have normally done is when it just goes normal, it's like dun 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 dun. I probably would have made it go dun 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 dun, like speed it up a little bit, but I don't have that much time to be mucking around and doing bits and pieces on there right now. So we'll just throw this in there and just say this is what we're going to do as a little added extra, my little fill. And you can also filter in. If you listen to some of my tracks, you'll notice I filter in my chords as well. Like once the first drop is sort of like is done, I sort of like filter in my my chords, and they just sit. Or I can just extend this over and do it this way. Let's do my drop tier once again because I want them to disappear. Thank you. And then we bring it in from here. And slowly up, bring that down, and just have it hovering. I just want it to hover, like. It's just there. It just gives it a little something. What do we at here? 3 minutes, perfect outro, and then you're done. Three minutes, 55 seconds, bang, bang, in, out. Of course, you want to add your drums, you want to add your fills, you want to add a little more bits and pieces on there, but essentially that's pretty much a track. Like one drop doesn't take that much. Even nowadays, like the tracks are like 3 minutes as an extended, which is bizarre to me. But it is what it is. That's pretty much it, man. It's pretty much a track from scratch. Put some drum rolls in, like I said, some crashes, some rises, some drops, some this and that, and Tundary Mundary, whatever you want to throw in there, and bang. But when it comes to the musical aspect of things, whilst it may look complicated if you don't know for the first time, when you look at these things like, okay, I know what's happening there, there are plenty of tutorials online that you can look up that shows you how to write melodies, how to do chords, how to make melodies from chords, how to determine what works in what situation. Ultimately, there is no right or wrong answer when it comes to writing chords and melodies and things like that. But you do need to be mindful of the scales you're working in and making sure that they work harmonically and sonically and all other onically that pertain to the actual composition you're putting together. So as its most basic elements here. Now I could have changed this pluck and made it a... It didn't have to be this, could have been... Could have been anything else really, could have changed it up as well, could have made it sound a little bit different. You drop this up instead of going down, even if I do this. It just sounds a bit too high, sounds a bit out of place. And in my mind, I'm thinking to myself, if I'm making something, I want to make it sound like at least it's something someone can play physically, not playing two different octaves at the same time thinking, yeah, someone's going to be able to play it, but I shouldn't be thinking that way because a lot of people do that. They'll jump from octave to octave. That's another way to make melodies and bass lines and things like that if you're out of ideas. But what else can we find for this? What else have we got sound-wise? It's not a bad sound. It's very old schoolish. I keep forgetting about that one. What's this? Sounds very much like a EDM type of tune. Dance pop, we've got plucks and stabs. So there's no right or wrong answer with these things. Whatever works for you. So that's too low. I need to change it up. So where is my other one? Plucks. Pluck, 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 pluck. Where is it? So stuff like that is very easy, very simple to work with. You have some pre-made stuff as well. Where was... I know there was another one here. It's like a trancey pluck synthy type of sound. And I don't know where it is now. Because there's so damn many of them in here. Might just change this to Vanguard real quickly here. Yeah, I know, it's like, whatever, just work. This is another VST program. I forget, I think it's part of the Nexus group. If you have Nexus, you should be able to get this. I forget what the bloody thing is, if it's paid or free, but... What? No, wait. Where's my Vanguard gone? No, not a new track, you moron. Replace. Idiot. That's me. What do we got? 5 minutes. Come on, let's change the sound and then we'll call it a stream. If we can call it that at least. Why does it keep doing that? I don't want stop. Delete. Delete. Replace. Here we go. Bloody hell. Why is it so difficult? Whatever works. One more thing I'll remind you of, you can also do as well to fill in the spaces and the gaps, is to just put like a little like chord, so like stabs in the background as well. Very easy. Let's just pick the same sort of sound or whatever. Come on, let's go. See. Alan Aztec Donk Machine. Oh, I remember that. Oh, that takes me back, man. That takes me back. Oh, that takes me back. Donk Machine. Holy shit. Maybe this one. Nah, let's stick with this one. Maybe. What's that? An arpeggiated one. Let's roll with that. Let's just stick this on this channel here. And then what we do is we grab the chords, because we've already done them. That's why everything is based off the chord structure, which is very easy to do. So let's do that instead. Go here, go there, blah, blah, blah. And we shift them on the offbeat. So shift them over. Metronome can be annoying. Layer them up. See what it sounds like. Also very easy and simple to do if you don't have any ideas for melodies or little bits and pieces, little riffs here and there. Just go off the bass line. It's the easiest thing you can do. It's effective, it's simple, it works. Probably wouldn't recommend mixing with something that sounds the same. So there you have it. That's pretty much it. That's all I got. That's an hour done. Fantastic, perfect. And I hope you got what you wanted out of this AUB. I know it's not the most comprehensive thing, but it's pretty much how you can make a track. And like I said, that's pretty much a track done. 4 minutes. Done and dusted. Thanks for coming. See you later. Add your bits and pieces. Spend another hour on it, putting bits and pieces here and there. Take a break. Come back. Mix it down. master it, send it out for mastering, however you want to go about it. And that's pretty much track done. Maybe next time I decide to do these things, I'll stream on something I'm actually working on properly, so we're not just mucking around and we actually work on something. But I hope you experienced something there. So thank you. I'm done. Thanks for watching. Thanks for coming along. If you're watching this live in the future, whatever. I know it's not a professional one. I know it's not something that I'm instructing you on to say, this is how we do these things, but this is how I do these things. This is how I go about sometimes making bits and pieces, making some tunes here and there, even when I'm bored. But ultimately, again, I'm going to repeat it one more time, as you might have heard already, but there's no right or wrong way to do these things. There's no right or wrong answer. Work at your own pace. Do what you do that's comfortable for you. If you want to lay down a drum track first, lay down a drum track. You want to do chords, do the chords. You want to do the melody, do the melody. There is no right or wrong answer. So appreciate all of you's been there. Don't forget, if you wouldn't mind, you can follow me on YouTube, of course, as you're watching now. You can also go to soundcloud.com/Nick Nova Music. There are some tech house tunes out there under Sublime. There's also a little video I released on this very channel as well, the video before that. So check that out, a bit of tracks, so you can have a bit of an idea as to what Sublime is. And of course, catch me at the Albion most Saturdays, also at Flamingo Lounge here and there, and plus we also have a few events in the works later down the year as well, so keep your ears out for that. Thank you all for watching. I'm going to say goodbye now. I'm going to go back to the start screen, even though we're not starting anymore, just so we don't end abruptly. So thank you everybody, peace out.